Well, thanks for joining everybody on a Friday. Appreciate it. For those who don't know me, my name is Matt Curto, and I've been in legal marketing for a better part of 15 years. A lot of you probably know me from Stretto in Best Case. I was there for a number of years, made a lot of connections, and basically I had left Stretto and now working with Sanguine. It's a free advisory group. Basically, what we're doing is we are helping with third party vendor selection. We have a process of vetting and working alongside with a lot of these vendors, a lot of which we're talking about today. And we've built kind of a best in class portfolio of solution providers across many different areas. So legal marketing, AI driven marketing, CRM selection, virtual paralegal services. And that's what we're talking about today is, mastering AI growth for bankruptcy attorneys, and then also your more traditional virtual receptionist service. And then as you're doing this and you're putting all this information out there on your website, making sure that you're staying compliant with cookies, settings, and the information on your website. We all hear stories about that. So, kind of jumping into it, I'm going to start by introducing some of the speakers here today. We have Patrick from Go Constellation, who's going to kick things off. We've been working with Patrick for a few years. We have a couple dozen clients with them, all good stuff. Everybody keeps renewing, which is always a good sign. So, with that being said, if Patrick, if you can go ahead and join and introduce yourself, we shall go from there.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. I
Okay.
really
Yeah.
appreciate introduction and everybody here who's today. My name is Patrick Carver, the owner of Constellation Marketing. We've been at this for a little over 10 years and we work with 85 law firms nationwide. We've been working with Sanguine for a couple of years now and really proud of our relationship with them. We've primarily been working with bankruptcy lawyers. So basically out of the 11 introductions that have been made, we've kept 10 of those bankruptcy attorneys. So we have a really good track record of getting people in, getting them ROI and delivering a good product out there. So again, really appreciate everybody's time. As I mentioned before, we've had a lot of really good success with bankruptcy firms. I'll start with, just kind of laying the groundwork because AI, it's on everybody's tongue right now, but can mean a lot of different things. And so what I'm going to focus on for this today is just this concept of using AI in marketing. And so there are a couple of real big benefits that you're going to be able to get from this that your competitors are already using. Smart law firms are already out there doing this stuff. And it's really only a matter of time before this gets adopted by the entire industry. So the tangible benefits that we think about are saving time, improving the quality, but ultimately you're going to be able to get more cases by incorporating these AI tools and strategies into your workflow. So when I talk about AI, I'm going to try and reduce it to just a couple of things because there's so many different parallels or pathways that this can go into. And it can definitely be overwhelming. And so for today, I'm just going to talk about an LLM like ChatGPT and then the idea of custom agents. And so these are the two kind of core ideas that we utilize with our own marketing, with our clients in the bankruptcy space, and that are generating results. And so to define that, a good example of this is ChatGPT. So I think that really kind of, dropped like a bomb onto the scene and became ubiquitous. Everybody knew about it. And so that's this idea that you go into the software tool, you can ask it pretty much any question. It's going to give you a really intelligent response. ChatGPT is only one of those LLMs or models that are out there. You've got Google is now in the scene. You've got Claude and all of these others. And so they all have a kind of a similar set of capabilities. They're all pretty close in terms of quality. And so when we talk about ChatGPT or using AI, that's the big area, the big use case is going in and basically asking this software to do something or give you analysis. And then we can even take that up a notch by using custom agents. And so what that means is we're going to establish some sort of rubric or a set of rules where we have a specific function that we want to do over and over again. So imagine you're filing a bankruptcy case. You've been doing that hundreds and hundreds of times, and you have an exact playbook for your chapter 7 or for something else. You can actually build that into an agent so that you give it a piece of information and then it starts to go down your specific area or your specific steps to accomplish it much like the way you would. And so when you think about how this could possibly impact your business, the possibilities are really endless. And we've been focused on this very heavily for the past year because we see this as a huge opportunity for law firms who want to, get more business, have deliver higher quality service to their customers, and ultimately be more efficient so they can spend more time being lawyers, doing strategy, doing the things that they want to do instead of routine paperwork. But for our purposes and what where we've seen a big benefit of this is on the marketing side. And so I'm going to go through a couple of different of these use cases where you can use ChatGPT or other LLMs or agents to your benefit. And the first one is going to be search engine optimization. And I'm going to go quickly through all of these, not really go into kind of a back end, a big discussion of what these things are. But if you are interested in any of this stuff, of course, please reach out. Our website's goconstellation.com. Happy to talk about any of this stuff and give you audits, go into any of this stuff in more detail. I wanted to just go into all of the different areas that this can be beneficial towards. So with SEO, the idea here is that we want your website to be showing up when people are at that critical time of need, searching for a lawyer, searching for a bankruptcy lawyer specifically in your market. And so the chat opportunities with AI, you can use this to create better content, do more iterations, do faster things so you can get that perfect page on your website done quicker, where historically you would have to go and spend hours and hours doing that, reviewing it yourself, and you don't really even have a sounding board or have somebody else come and look at it. You can all do a lot of that simply by having a conversation with ChatGPT. So it's really, really powerful. And then ultimately that is going to lead to better results. And so when I say better content, that could be speaking more authentically to your customers, speaking in a way that resonates with them better rather than using legalese. Or it could be incorporating the most accurate and updated data that is out there into your web pages. And so there's a lot of ways that you can add qualitative improvements to your website, and ultimately having those updates come in and having better quality content is going to get rewarded by Google. Another great opportunity for using AI is to improve your conversion rate optimization. The idea behind this is that if you can get a small increase in the number of people who are coming to your website and converting those people to becoming leads and ultimately clients, just a small increase is going to produce a huge win for your firm, right? And so as a marketer, we often talk with law firms who come to us and, we're able to get them a lot of leads, but a big problem for them is that they're not closing that business. Equally as important, if not more important than being able to generate those leads to get to your website is whether or not you're actually able to convert those people as they come in and, create that narrative that's going to resonate with them. And so we see this as a huge opportunity that you actually don't need to spend any more money on your marketing. You're probably getting a decent amount of traffic, or the amount of leads that you're getting now currently, you could be getting more value out of those leads. And so with AI, it gives you a great ability to take the copywriting that's on your website, push it into a chat GPT and say, hey, imagine that you're a best in class sales representative with vast experience in the legal space. Help me adopt this or help me adjust this copy so that it resonates with the average person who's going through a bankruptcy. And you, as the attorney who has this experience, obviously has a lot of that inherent knowledge, but it's really hard to self-diagnose, right? And it's always great to have another kind of mediating or moderating person coming in and adding some of that. And so for me personally, not great at writing sales copy. And so I leverage this a lot to improve the writing that I start with and put on our website. I'll start with the first draft, put it into ChatGPT, and get something that's way better and speaks more authentically to the group that is actually reading it. So small change, doesn't take a lot of time, but can produce a really big benefit. Another great area where this is going to help you is if you're doing any advertising. So if you are doing pay-per-click advertising, you're doing Facebook advertising, any of those things, you have a great opportunity to be able to leverage ChatGPT and other AI to improve the material that you're putting out. So again, this is the exact same example as what I was previously just talking about with improving the conversion rate on your website. Take what you are the on the ground person with the experience and the specific pain points that you hear day in and day out, And you can then take that to an LLM and get those polished up so you can have a variety of ways that you're talking about a topic that potentially have a better opportunity to convert those people. And what's great about this is that you don't have to be an ad genius to do all this. And so it's allowing kind of average Joes, or just like regular people, to go in and kind of wear these expert hats in these different arenas and get a lot better result out of what you already know, and taking advantage of your experience and wisdom with this. And so with advertising, you can now come up and test a variety of ways of talking about an issue. And then you're able to follow that and track that advertising performance to see which one of those resonates better with the group you're trying to reach. Because what you might be using right now may not be the most attractive thing to consumers, and but you've been doing it that way for 10 years, right? That's the value of this. You can test and iterate extremely quickly without a lot of money and without a lot of capital or time investment on your part. And another area that this could be very beneficial is social media. So again, touching on this idea that you are running a law firm, right? You do not have time to do SEO, to become an advertising expert, or become popular on social media. Some people, have that innately, that skill, are able to do that and become popular. But for me, I'm never on social media, but I can still produce a ton of really good social media content that keeps me out there, keeps me top of mind with the people who have made a connection to me in the past, and improves or shows my credibility, right? And shows that I know what I'm talking about, so that when they do have that need, I'm in the position to take advantage of that. And if you are under the impression that you can kind of have a business in today's day and age without being on a website, without doing social media, you're sorely mistaken, right? Because everybody, when they are going to look for an attorney, they want to do a little bit of background research. So they're going to look at your website, they're going to go on your socials, and if it's crickets on your feed, they're going to go to the next person that looks like this person has a good responsive business. They're adding stuff regularly. They're doing all of these things that fit what I would expect with a good experience with a business. So the benefit here with AI is that you can go in and talk with a chat bot and give them information about your business. Here are the things I care about. Here are the things that set me apart from other bankruptcy lawyers in my market. Here's my experience. Help me come up with a week's worth of Facebook posts. And the beauty is that it will produce that almost immediately. And then you can go from there and continue to kind of tweak it and talk with it to move it around to where it's something that really reflects you and your personality. And so again, you get to do all of these great assets, create these assets without a lot of effort, and be able to deploy them rapidly. So instead of making this a big thing, you can do it really, really quickly and get really good results. One other area that this is beneficial is newsletters and email marketing in general. So think about your intake. If you're sending emails out or newsletters, this is something that is one of those things that like sits at the bottom of it's a post-it note on your desk, right? Like, oh, I need to get to that. I need to go and send that newsletter out. And it's always a problem, because it's the last thing that you have on your mind, because you're doing casework, you're doing all this stuff, you're overworked, you got stuff going on at home. And so the last thing is like, oh, I'm going to go, write a compelling and interesting newsletter to put out there. That's the beauty of this, is that you can actually go into a ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm a bankruptcy lawyer in this market. Give me 10 newsletter ideas. And then from there, you can say, okay, I like number 1, 3, and 6. Give me 5 more that are like that. And then from there, okay, now go write me the newsletter for these. Okay, now do one more version of that, but make it a little more casual. And I also want to add this discount card that I want to include, or I'm doing a raffle at the end of the month or something like that. So it's really easy to produce great content, great advertising and marketing assets in a really, really short period of time. And so what I would recommend is, how do you action this and how do you kind of get your hands around this, is that you should start to take an interest in this and start playing around with ChatGPT. You don't have to be an expert on it. The beauty is that you can start to find people like us like other people on this call who are experts in AI, and it can help you kind of navigate these tools to have the most benefit for your business. Because I see a world in the next 2 to 3 years where AI is going to be synonymous with everything that we're doing, whether it's advertising, marketing, compliance, anything you can think of. And so now is the time to really start to get that foundational understanding of how you can leverage this, and then rely on experts and the people in your world who are getting in the weeds and really making this valuable. But that, in a nutshell, is what I see happening in this space, and I love this stuff. I'm really excited about where this is going. I think it's going to mean better service for law firm owners, more time back in their pockets, more revenue coming in. And we've really dived into this head first because we think it's going to be such a seismic event. And so if you want to talk about your current marketing practices, how you can get AI involved with those, or you want to look at, we have a bankruptcy guide for bankruptcy marketing guide for attorneys, the best in practice resources that we use to help grow all of those bankruptcy attorneys that we've been connected with Sanguine. Love to talk, and at any point I would love to help provide resources and get you on a path where you are having an absolutely great rest of 2025. So I'll end it there. Thanks everybody, and really appreciate this opportunity, Matt and everybody else on the panel.
Thanks, Patrick.